What is a robot? Basically, a robot is a thing that do three main functions or has three main features. The first one is something that's called perception, which is basically sensing the atmosphere, looking in the environment and collect some data, receiving some signals from another robot. The second main feature is decision making based on what I have received or what I have seen in the environment or what I have sensed in the atmosphere. I may take a decision based on some pre-installed instructions or orders, some artificial intelligence algorithm, some deep learning algorithm. Based on that, a decision is taken to move forward, for example, to move backward, to stop, to start. And that's what's called an actuation. Actuation is basically moving the motors to some angle or rotate continuously, move right, move left. That's what's called actuation. So basically a robot has three main features: the sensing or the perception, which is which basically represent the five senses of the human. That is vision making, which is the brain of the robot. Actuation, which acts as the muscles of the robot. Perception is basically sensing the atmosphere. So it could be microphone so that I can hear what the audience is saying. A camera to observe the environment, to see what's going on around the robot itself, or to classify some objects to maybe based on their shapes, their colors, and so on. And finally, it's basic sensors such as temperature sensor to sense the temperature, pressure sensor, ultrasonic sensor, IR sensor, and the list goes on. So perception is basically about sensing any quantity with any mean. As for example, for microphone, Google Alexa is basically a robot, as it senses the voice of the human, then make a decision based on the orders that he has given. After that, it tries to actuate based on the orders and, for example, connect him with the internet, for example, or tell him what is the weather like. That's actuation. It's not basically moving some robot or so on. Decision making is basically analyzing all the inputs, all the sensed data, and then based on these conditions, we take the decision. It could be with remote control, someone who controls the robot. It could be with microcontroller, which you can put some if statement. If this happens, do this. If this happens, do this, and so on. Or it could be through AI, which is the dominant strategy nowadays for decision making, especially machine learning and deep learning. Actuation is mostly concerned with motors, so except for Alexa, I can't make any examples of a robot that doesn't move. So basically actuation is about moving. So some of the most used motors in our environment is the stepper motor or the servo motor, which is basically a stepper motor with an encoder connected to it, or a DC or an AC motor, which are mostly used in conveyors or heavy duty robotic arms.